guys, so I know we're on my vlog channel and this is the setup for my beauty channel, but I'm doing the book talk for the little book club thing that we're trying to do right now. So I figured I'll do it like this. I don't know, because it's easier and nicer and better and it's not a standard vlog, so let's get a little bit fancy with it. But this is still my vlog channel, so I'm still going to be me on here during this video, if that makes any sense. And yeah, I'm sorry for the noise in the background. My heat literally keeps coming up every like 10 minutes, so there's really nothing I can do but just deal with it, because if not I wouldn't be able to film at all if I keep waiting for it to stop. Anyway, this is the book Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. This is the book that Wendy of Diva Makeup Queen and I are reading, because me and her have this little book club thing that we do. In case you don't know what's going on, we have this little book club thing that we do. We started doing this the beginning of last year, or the end of the year before actually. We'll pick an inspirational book and read it and discuss it together. So this year we decided to find a way to extend it to you guys as well. So we'll still be doing our readings, and if you guys want to read along, I'll be letting you guys know what chapters we'll be reading and by when. And then after the date, I'm gonna do a little video just sharing what I learned from those chapters with you guys. So I guess you're kind of getting a review of what I feel is important if you don't want to read the book, but you guys should read the books too, so that we can have a discussion about it in the comments section. And also I want to hear your input, and everybody kind of digests information a little differently. Sorry. So I want to know what your take from it is. Anyway, let's do this so I can go have lunch after. This is Awaken the Giant Within. It says how to take immediate control of your mental, emotional, physical, and financial destiny. Now, just an overview of the book so far. We read chapters 1 through 5, which is about the first 120 pages or so, for this video that I'm going to be talking about right now. So, general overview, this book was published in like the 90s, I believe, around then. So there is a lot of references. Copyright 1991. So there's a lot of references in here that I'm just like, there's a lot of examples throughout the book, which I do like examples. I feel like there's too many examples. I understand using examples to prove a point. And in these examples, you have to give background information of the example in order to prove said point. I just feel like every other page was like 3 pages of a background story of an example. And like I said, examples are great, but I kind of wanted more. Maybe it's just these first few chapters, but I kind of wanted to jump into it more. I wanted more strategies. I wanted more science. I wanted more research. I didn't want so many like political examples and life examples and how Coca-Cola did this examples that's gonna relate. I mean, they're all great, but like I said, it seemed like every other page was 3 pages full of a background story of this example. Another thing, like I said, it was copyright in 1991, so a lot of these things are either not really relevant anymore. Like they were talking about the economic crisis of the 90s. We're way past the 90s, so the economic crisis of the 90s are not relevant. Plus in 91, I was like probably still in diapers or so. So it's nothing, I can't relate, I can't connect. Some of the stuff I don't know what they're talking about. Some of like the pop cultural references, I don't really, like there was some guy, I knew who the guy was. It was like some rock star guy that they mentioned. I did know who he was, but I didn't know like his whole background story like that. Like I know he's some famous rock star guy, but I don't know, it just, I couldn't really connect with it in that sense. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I found myself like jumping over some paragraphs when I saw that they were like talking about Mitsubishi. I don't know, it wasn't Mitsubishi, it was like Toyota or something. I don't know, they were talking about some car company for like 15 pages. So I saw myself skipping some paragraphs because I wanted more of like the things that I could take away from it. What can I do now? What is the strategy, why does it work, how do I employ it, and that's it. So that's really the only thing that I'm kind of like, and it was like 120 pages, and I just feel like the book is so bulky because there's so many like references and examples and stuff, and a lot of outdated ones, so that's like, it's a little womp womp. But if you can go through it with a grain of salt and find the information is bomb so far. So I have like notes all in the margins, and I have post-its like all around in here too of things that I want to share with you guys. So I'm just going to quickly go through the chapters, I guess. The first one is called Dreams of Destiny. Some important things. Well, let me read you this sentence. It says, I made a decision in that moment which was to alter my life forever. I decided to change virtually every aspect of my life. I decided I would never again settle for less than I could be. So this is basically his background story and how he like came to this understanding, this realization. He turned his life around. And of course he has the whole story about how he was like super broke and like in this terrible position, and his life was all woe is me, and then now he's like a multimillionaire and all this stuff. So it's like the rags to riches story, which is super empowering to read, but that's pretty much, it was kind of like an introduction to get your feet wet. It also talked about the power of focus and concentration of power. So focusing on something is going to help you apply more power. Controlled focus is like a laser beam in your life, which is pretty important. And then it kind of went into how to create lasting change, which is a part of the chapter that I want to share with you guys. It says there's 3 elementary principles of change that you and I can use immediately to change our lives. So the 3 steps are: step number 1, to raise your standard. And there are some exercises throughout the book. I will share them with you and also let you know which ones I did and didn't do. So step number 1 is to raise your standards. It says, I wrote down all the things I would no longer accept in my life, all the things I would no longer tolerate, and all the things that I aspired to becoming. I actually did this. I believe it was right before the new year. I believe. But I got a piece of paper and I wrote down a list. I think I talked to you guys about it in a vlog. I wrote down a list of all the things that I wouldn't accept in my life anymore. It could have been little things, like big things or little things. I will not accept disrespect anymore from anybody. I will not accept my sweatpants. Remember, I made a rule that I'm not leaving the house in these sweatpants. These sweatpants are only for indoor use, and I think I might extend that to only in the winter, because even indoors, I don't need to be rolling around in these raggedy sweatpants in the summer and spring and stuff like that. So I made a full list of big things and small things. I still have my list of things that I just, habits or things or practices that were not serving me and that I would no longer accept. And then I also made a list of things that I aspire to becoming. Like, for the sweatpants, one thing you can aspire to becoming, on the other hand, is like always well kept, always presentable. One rule I made is that I will always have either my hair or makeup done when I go to the gym. I won't, because sometimes I really go to the gym looking like Raggedy Ann too. So no more going to the gym with my hair not done and my makeup not done. I need to have at least one of the two. Even though, I mean, like, you're gonna sweat your hair out in the gym anyway, but it's just about putting your best foot forward. Whatever, personal rules, you guys can make whatever personal rules you want for yourself. We're not here to judge. Yeah, in the comment section, and if we go on to have discussions on these videos and stuff, we're not judging anybody. You guys, if you want to judge me, you keep it to yourself. I'm not gonna have any of that on this channel, and you're not judging each other. I will delete and block. Do not make nasty comments back and forth to each other. It's not gonna happen. So yeah, it's basically wherever you are in your life, and everybody's in a different place, what do you want to do? What do you no longer want to accept? What do you want to aspire to become? What are your new standards for yourself? So step 1 is raising your standards. Step 2 is to change your limiting beliefs. And then step 3 is to change your strategy. So then the ensuing am I using the word correctly? With the following chapters, I don't know why I just got a mental block. I don't know if I used that word correctly. But the following chapters are going to discuss changing your limiting beliefs, and then later on changing strategies. So I thought that was pretty important. And then the chapter 1 finishes with kind of like a summary of what the book will be about. So the book is basically working on mastering, I think, 5 different areas of your life that supposedly impact us the most, and by mastering these areas of your life, you'll have a better overall quality of life. So the first one is emotional mastery. It says virtually everything we do is to change the way we feel. So all of the actions we take are based on creating good feelings. Like, it's just human nature. Number 2 is physical mastery. Number 3 is relationship mastery. Number 4 is financial. And number 5 is time. So yeah, and then it says, which I liked, this was in bold, it says, I wrote this book to be an action guide, a textbook for increasing the quality of your life and the amount of enjoyment you can pull from it. And you guys know I'm all about school, and I'm all about textbooks, and I'm all about homework, so I liked that. Then I went on to read and saw all these random examples, and I'm like, can I just get some homework? Like, tell me to write something. So then I wrote some notes here of what I wanted to share. It's an intro to what the book is about and how to use it. We shared the 3 steps to creating lasting change, and we shared the 5 areas as well. Okay, cool. So I talked about all that. Are you okay? What are you hacking up? My dog has a hairball. I don't understand. Then, yeah, go back to sleep. She's like all cuddled into my pillow. She's literally like on my pillow and under the covers. She looks like a little person. Okay, so chapter 2 is called Decisions, the Pathway to Power. And I know I say that word really weird. And this was in bold. I wanted to read to you guys. It says, more importantly, we should be asking ourselves, how am I going to live the next 10 years of my life? How am I going to live today in order to create the tomorrow that I'm committed to? And what am I going to stand for from now on? It's like a lot of the times in our life we're so focused on what's going on right now, and you know, the mistakes that we made in the past, and now look at where we are today. And I agree and disagree with this aspect, just because I do feel it's important, what that statement I just read to you, it's important to look forward and to plan and to make the conscious decision of what, you know, you want moving forward, and then figure out what you have to do right now to get there. But because of like my spiritual beliefs and things like that, I'm also very rooted in the now. So I mean, I am by nature one of these super pre-planner people. Like, I love to make lists, I love to plan, I love to like know what's going on and things like that, but I had to learn to let go. So what the book is saying is important, but also remember that if you're constantly thinking and projecting into the future and planning this future, you're not making it happen. You can only create change in the now, in the moment that you're in. This is like the only moment that we have in our lives, is what's going on right now. The future didn't happen. We don't know what's going to happen. We have no idea. And when the future gets here, it's not going to be the future anymore. It's going to be the now. It's going to be the present. The past, I mean, you could share an experience with somebody, and then everybody's going to remember it differently when they think back on the memory. So the past happened, it's gone, and at the end of the day, you can never get it back. You never know what really happened. You can never have that exact sensation again in that moment, in that time, space. It's gone. So it's kind of sad to think of it like that, because it's almost like an illusion. But whatever. I'm big on my memories, so we're gonna hold those memories dear. Anyway, so it's important to plan and to know where you're going, but just remember that aspect of, this is where I want to go. What am I going to do right now to get there? Like, what practices am I going to do? I want to be this. I say you want to open your own business selling, I don't know, tiles, right? You want to be this businesswoman selling these beautiful tiles for your kitchen and bathroom. That's your goal. So what can you do now, today, to embody this person? How would this person act? You're a successful businesswoman. Are you going to be complaining about whatever? Like, you have to make the decision right now to change right now. And I think that's important to remember. Also, different actions produce different results. So if you're not happy with what's been going on up to now, do something differently. What else was important? There was another very important, like, underlying theme. Oh, then he goes on to, like, empower you by saying you don't like your job, you don't have to go to work. Like, you can leave your job and get another job. And I know that's like an out there kind of thinking, but if you look at it in just its essential meaning of, I don't have to go to work. Like, yes, I have to make an income. I have to provide for my family, my 16 starving children, whatever. But I don't have to go to this job that I hate. I can at any moment be like, no, I hate you, job. I'm quitting. I'm going to get another job. I'm going to be on unemployment while I look for another job. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that instead. I'm going to start looking for another job while I go to the job that I hate because I don't want to be without a job, but I'm going to eventually leave you. So don't feel like you're trapped or stuck or have to. There's nothing in this life that we have to do besides like breathe if you want to continue to live this life. But you're not forced, even breathing, you can make the decision to stop breathing, you know, like that's not even an example I want to dive into, but you have the power to decide and control every aspect of your life. So he was just trying to like empower you by reminding you of that. I wrote a little post-it right here. It says too many examples with like a face that looks like this. Like literally my face looks like this. I drew him. It's not important for you to know, you know, it's important to know where you want to end up. It's not important to know how to get there. You just have to be like, I want to be this tile selling successful businesswoman, and let's start the process. You don't need to know where you're going to get your towels from, how you're going to sell them, what store, where it's going to be, the address, anything. You don't need to know that going in. You just need to know, this is what I want, let's start. And then you start one step at a time. If there's things that you're not sure of yet, don't let that stop you. Like, okay, I'm working on a really big project this year. A couple, but there's one that is, there's aspects of it. Like, I need to create a new website for this project. And the website has to have certain criteria, and like, you guys have to be able to log into the website. You guys have to be able to, I have to be able to like embed videos on it so you can get like videos from me and whatever. Videos that I don't want on my YouTube channel. Like, I just want them embedded on the website. You know what I mean? So it's like there's areas that you can only access if you log in, and then areas that anybody can access as a guest. Like, I don't know how to do this stuff, but while I am a little bit stressed about it, like, I'm just like, yeah, I gotta figure this out. But I'm not letting that stop me from working on the other parts of the project that I can work on, the things that are in my control, like preparing the material that's gonna be on this website. I can do that. I might not be able to get it on the site. I might not have any idea how that's gonna happen, but I can get the material ready. You know what I mean? So I know my goal. I know where I'm heading. In the now, I am working on every day for a little while, at least taking some notes or breaking down whatever I need to prepare, scripting the videos, writing the material, things like that. So in the now, like it's like the now is always changing, because this now isn't the now that we were talking about before. But in the moment, I sit down and I do some work towards this project. As I'm working towards this project, I'm getting some things accomplished, and I'm also getting new connections, meeting new people throughout like my life, and things that are bringing me closer to figuring out, when the time comes, how to do this website and how to put everything in place. So don't stop a project because you don't see the full path. Like, I'm gonna have my damn work ready and my stuff ready to go up on that website, and even if I don't know how that website is gonna happen, when my stuff is all ready to go, you better be damn sure I am gonna be calling up people, I'm gonna be hiring people, I'm gonna be doing whatever I need to do to get that vision going, because I have my stuff ready. All I need is the website, and it's gonna work out, because it's gonna work out. I know where I'm going. I made the decision to get to that point, and I did all the work that I could do leading up to that point, so my website is gonna find a way. It will. Yeah, here it is. What's important is to decide that you will find a way no matter what. It says it right in the book. So then he's talking about a previous book that he did called Unlimited Power, and he outlined something that he called the ultimate success formula. Number 1, decide what you want. Number 2, take action. Number 3, figure out what's working or not. And number 4, change your approach or your strategy until you get to the goal. And I think this is really important to remember. It creates momentum. Like, you decided, I'm gonna be this tile seller, right? I know what I want. That's it. Let me start. I need to, whatever, I'm getting my tiles from this certain manufacturer or source or whatever the hell tile people get their tiles from. The quality is not that great. Like, I'm selling this stuff. Customers are complaining. The tiles are cracking. It's not adhering to the cement or the grout or whatever it is that sticks the tiles to the walls. It's not working. I noticed that this is not working. Number 3. Number 4, you're changing the approach. I'm gonna go with a different manufacturer or tile seller or whatever. I'm going to stay with the same one but use this different tile that he sells. I'm going to, I don't know, invent a spray that makes the tiles impenetrable. Whatever it is, you're going to change your approach or strategy. You're going to think of something different. So you're still working towards number 1. You're just not giving up when a little thing happens. So when you change your strategy, you're essentially taking action again. You're like, okay, let me invent this spray that's going to make my tiles impenetrable. So then you take action to invent the spray. Then you figure out the spray isn't holding. Then you change the chemicals or the formula or whatever, and then you try the spray again, and then the spray works, and then you're like this multimillionaire because you invented this pretty dope spray that makes things unbreakable. Don't steal my idea. I'm gonna invent that spray one day. No, I'm kidding, guys. Anyway, so you get what I'm saying? Like, it creates momentum and it gets things going, and then you're no longer in a place of, oh crap, I don't know how I'm gonna be this tile seller person, because you don't even care about that. You're so busy dealing with the now and what's going on right now and selling these tiles and changing the shipper or whatever, that you're not driving yourself crazy. You're working on the now, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Don't attach feeling to it. Like, okay, it's not you that didn't work. You're fine. The idea or the circumstance or whatever didn't pan out the way you wanted it to. Oh well, let's try again. Like, they closed the door, I'm going in through the window type of thinking. He also says that making decisions is like a muscle, so you gotta build your decision-making muscle, and the way to build it is by making more and more decisions. Here he's talking about the 3 decisions that control your destiny are your decisions about what to focus on, your decisions about what things mean to you, and your decisions about, I hate saying that word, about what to do to create the results that you desire. I don't know why there's just certain words that come out with an accent as much as I try not to. It's crazy. All right, and then it starts getting into some of like the brain work. Your brain already has an internal system for making decisions, so it already, you know, it's like, I have to make a decision, it's going to do it in its own way. And he says that this system is comprised of 5 components, and most of the times you didn't set the system up. So it's based on your core beliefs and unconscious rules, your life values, your references, the habitual questions that you ask yourself, and the emotional states you experience in each moment. And the thinking behind this is that we were raised by amazing families who are just not as consciously elevated as we are in today's day and age, or maybe they were. I mean, everybody is different, but mine wasn't. So we have these belief systems set in place, like things we've been hearing all our lives. Money doesn't grow on trees. Well, damn, what if I wanted to believe that money grows on trees? What if I could build a money tree or plant a money tree outside and I don't have to worry about money for the rest of my life? You know what I mean? We've been fed these beliefs that are ingrained in our thinking. You have to work hard to get ahead. You know, women are never going to make as much money as guys. Why not? Why can't I make more money than my husband? Like, what's the problem? These beliefs affect how we make our decisions. And we have to consciously change the system, because now we're like a lot smarter and we don't just believe everything that we were fed when we were little and stuff like that, and we realize that some of these beliefs are not serving us in our lives. So we're gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna believe that I need to work extra hard to get ahead, because I don't think that. And I'm gonna find a job that I absolutely love, so it's gonna feel like I don't have to work at all and I'm getting ahead. You know what I mean? So it's up to us to do that, and I'm getting a clip for my hair. And it says, by changing any one of those 5 elements, you can immediately produce a powerful and measurable change in your life. Yeah, it's some pretty powerful-ish. This was interesting. I made a note by this. It says, remember, success truly is the result of good judgment. Good judgment is the result of experience, and experience is often the result of bad judgment. So that just makes it feel like it's okay to make a bad decision, or to, you know, to do something that doesn't work, and then you learn from it, and then you make a better decision. It's necessary. So there is no failure until you give up. Like, you didn't fail. You just need to re-strategize. You know what I mean? I put a little post-it here. It says, to master faster, practice your skill more. So if you want to make better decisions, then make decisions all day. Decide what you're gonna eat. Decide this, decide that. You know what I mean? A lot of people were like, and I do this all the time. I go out to eat, or I make plans to eat with somebody, and they're like, what do you want to eat? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, whatever you want. Like, no. Make a decision. If somebody asks you what you want to eat, tell them, I want this or I want that. Sometimes you really do want something and you're just like, oh, whatever. No, we're going to make decisions from now on. It also says that mastering any skill takes as long as you want it to. So he kind of said about his own personal experience that he, you know, was a motivational speaker or whatever, a public speaker, and whereas other people would do like 1 speaking arrangement per month, he was doing like 3 per day, or like whatever the number was. And in 1 year, he had the equivalent of these other people's like 10-year experiences, because he practiced his craft so much that he was exposed to more situations where he could gain experience about it. And then again, I put another little post-it right here. It says, the post-it says to do, and then I wrote, decide, action, reflect, and re-strategize. So he's kind of just backing up that thinking. Here's just a whole bunch of examples. In order to succeed, you must have long-term focus. This is a theme that's going to be throughout the book, or throughout the chapters that I read so far, but talking about the long term and the short term of it. So maybe in the short term, you have to do something that you don't want to do. Okay, people want their dream body, right? Their ideal body. But right now, you don't feel like going to the damn gym. You're like, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to work out. I want to eat that chocolate cake and not that, you know, piece of salmon or whatever. So in the short term, you're just looking for instant satisfaction. But then in the long term, what's going to happen? You don't have that body that you want because you got instant satisfaction in the moment, and then you feel worse later on. So it's like, focus on that long-term goal, and it's going to help you deal with the short-term things that arise. And after time, you're going to be so focused on, okay, I want my ideal body, that you're going to see a piece of chocolate cake and you're going to be like, yeah, it's good, it looks and smells delicious, but damn, I'm going to feel so much better, or I feel so much better working towards my body. I'm so much more excited for that I don't really need the cake. And that's where your belief system starts to kind of shift. So just a chapter overview: to harness the power of decisions, remember the true power of making decisions, realize the hardest step in achieving anything is making a true decision, make them often, learn from them, and stay committed to them, but stay flexible in the approach. So once you've decided, I want to be this tile builder, or whatever you want it to be, stay very firm in your decision. Like, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to have. I'll be damned if somebody takes this goal away from me. I'm selling my tiles. But you're going to be flexible in how you get there. Like, like I said, the manufacturer or the sourcing person wasn't working, so go with another one. Don't feel like you're stuck into that. Don't get crazy about the how it's gonna happen. Be flexible, because at the end of the day, your goal is just to be this tile expert seller person. So who cares how you get there and how many times you have to re-strategize? Like, don't no te aferres en eso. So like, don't dig your heels deep into that aspect of it when your goal is just to get here. So why are you going to delay the process of getting there by trying to over control what's going on here? Be flexible. This way didn't work, go this way. You're still going to get over here. And I love how I'm just like diagramming it up for you guys. Number 6, enjoy making decisions. And know that it's your decisions, not your conditions, that determine your destiny. So you can be anywhere you are in life right now, and it's perfectly fine where you are. You can make a decision and you can make a change, and yeah. So then chapter 3 was the force that shapes your life. Okay. So your behavior is the effect, not the cause. Your behavior is the effect, not the cause. Please, this was super, I put it on a post-it. It's a very big thing. And pretty much what that means is that if you keep trying to change a behavior, for example, procrastination, you procrastinate. You keep trying to change procrastinating. Your procrastinating is the effect of something. Your procrastination is not the cause of something. So by trying to change procrastinating, which is the effect, you're going to continue to procrastinate because you're not dealing with why you are procrastinating. I hope that makes sense. And this chapter is about pain and pleasure. And he kind of explains how every single thing in your life is based on pain and pleasure, and what brings you pain and what brings you pleasure. And every decision you've ever made for your entire span of your life boils down to these two simple concepts. I'm not really sure how much I agree or disagree with it, but it's an interesting theory. I also put a post-it here about procrastination. So here it says, I'm going to read you parts of the paragraph because I underlined a bunch of it. So what is procrastination? When you know that you should do something but you still don't do it. Why not? Because at some level you believe that taking action in this moment will be more painful than just putting it off. Like the gym example. The experience of putting something off for so long that suddenly you feel pressured to just do it and get it done with. So what happened that changed it? Suddenly not taking action became more painful than putting it off. So pretty much to better explain that, you don't want to go to the gym because you're just comfortable. It's cold outside. It's snowing. You got to drive. The gym is far. You got to work out. You got things to do. You rather clean the house. No, you don't want to go to the gym. So the satisfaction of putting it off is greater. It's going to give you greater pleasure. Then 3 months later, you're like a month away from your wedding and you haven't been going to the gym and you realize, crap, I need to fit into my wedding dress. Then all of a sudden, not going to the gym is not going to give you pleasure anymore. It's going to give you pain because you're like, I really need to go. So that shift in what causes pain and what causes pleasure is what's going to get your butt out the door and at the gym in this example. So here is another to-do post-it that I wrote, and it says, what equates pain and pleasure in your life? So what do you attribute to pain and what do you attribute to pleasure? For people who smoke, they get pleasure out of smoking. They feel relaxed, whatever the case is. My mom smoked for a lot of years, and when she started, because my mom is a lot older, so when she started smoking, it wasn't a bad thing back then. Like, it was a cool thing. Everybody was doing it. There were no health risks, or they didn't know about any of that yet. So she started, found pleasure in smoking, and didn't stop. And I mean, for some people, all the information that we have now about how damaging it is and all like those graphic commercials with like the disgusting bug that they gotta kill, and it's like, that bug is really in your cigarette type of stuff. Like, ugh, that's nasty. Anyway, although that kind of stuff is enough to cause someone enough pain where the pleasure of smoking is not that big of a deal because the pain associated with smoking is larger. That was not the case for my mom. My mom was like, okay, I'm gonna die one day anyway type of mentality. So she didn't stop for health reasons. I had my son. She was still smoking. She, you know, I kept him away from it when he was a baby, and like told her to do it outside and stuff, but even him being in the house was not enough for her to stop. What really stopped her was the amount of money that she was spending. And she used to get them like cheaper somehow or somewhere, and then they raised the prices, something like that. Like some price got raised and she was like, I just can't afford this anymore. So the pain of losing so much money was, the pleasure of keeping the money was bigger than the pleasure of smoking. Smoking became a pain because she was losing the pain of losing the money that she was spending on all these cartons. She would buy them by the cartons, all these cartons of cigarettes. Yeah, not the pack. She would buy them by the cartons. It was really bad. So she finally stopped, and literally she like, it was like 1 month to the next and she was done. And she never went back because she made the association that I am not going to spend my money on cigarettes. Like, I don't, no, it's not going to happen. Plus, my mom has the thinking that, you know, that poor mentality that she doesn't have the money to spend on cigarettes. So I don't want to word it like that, but that's her thinking. So she had no choice but to stop, and she stopped. And it wasn't sorry. And it wasn't difficult for her or anything like that. Like, she just stopped. So yeah, that's why it's like good to know what gives you pain and what gives you pleasure in your life and how that affects your life. Like, are the things that are giving you pleasure good habits or bad habits? Are the things that are giving you pain good things or bad things, and how that affects you? Then it starts talking about neuro associations and like things just going on with your brain and how we associate what's pain and what's pleasure and all that kind of stuff. Again, what drives our behavior is an instinctive reaction to pain and pleasure. If we haven't eliminated the cause of the problem will resurface, like I said with the procrastination example. Okay, and then right here I wrote, this is key. It says, the truth is that we can learn to condition our mind, bodies, and emotions to link pain or pleasure to whatever we choose. By changing what we link pain and pleasure to, we will instantly change our behaviors. So if you link pain to procrastination, then you're not going to want to procrastinate anymore, because as human beings, we don't want to feel pain. If you link pleasure to your job, then you're going to want to do more of it because it's pleasurable to you. You know what I mean? Okay, and then this is all examples and describing how ad companies and brands use pain and pleasure to essentially brainwash us, which was pretty interesting. And then it also goes on to explain that it's not, in order to change these links, you have to have a lot of emotion behind it. So here I wrote, focus on long-term or over short-term, like the gym example. Here I wrote major key because, you know, DJ Khaled is just like the most supportive person in my life right now, not to quote the meme, but major key, most people focus on how to avoid pain and gain pleasure in the short term and thereby create long-term pain for themselves. We already kind of spoke about all of this. I got ahead of myself. There's no notes here because it's a lot of examples. Great exercise I wrote on the post-it. So let's make some changes right now. That's what it's called. So I wrote do this, and I actually did do it, so you guys got to do it too. So first you're going to write down 4 actions that you need to take that you've been putting off. So it's like stop smoking, lose weight, whatever. Second, under each of these actions, you're going to write down the answer to the following questions. Why haven't I taken this action? And in the past, what pain have I linked to taking that action? So for smoking, you haven't stopped smoking because smoking gives you pleasure, it's a habit, and it's painful to break a habit, whatever. Third, write down all the pleasure you've had in the past by indulging in this negative pattern. For example, if you want to lose weight, it says, why do you continue to eat the whole pan of brownies? Because you're avoiding the pain of depriving yourself, and at the same time it makes you feel good right now. It gives you instant pleasure, blah, blah. So you're going to talk about that instant pleasure that you're getting. Then fourth, you're going to write down what it will cost you if you don't change now. So if you don't, you know, go to the gym, what is it going to cost you? That's like the long term looking at it. And then the final step is to write down all of the pleasure that you'll receive by taking each of these actions now. So if you do stop smoking right now, if you do go to the gym right now, what pleasure are you going to receive? Like, damn, summer is going to come and I'm going to put a bikini on and I'm going to be like the hottest little thing up in my bikini and I'm going to feel good about myself. So it's like that kind of thing, looking what pleasure you're going to get right now and as well as in the long term. Because sometimes right now we don't see what's the pleasure in going to the gym right now for people who don't like to work out. You know what I mean? Do this example, this exercise, and really write it out. If you don't want to pick 4 things, pick one just to really like delve into it. The more examples, the more writing, the more juice that you put into answering these questions, the stronger emotional connection you're going to make, and the easier and faster that you are going to change that belief and change that action and change the associations of pain and pleasure, and then start going to the gym or whatever it is that you're writing about. Number 4 was beliefs. Chapter 4 was belief systems, the power to create and the power to destroy. It's not the events of our lives that shape us, but our beliefs as to what those events mean. Okay, this was really interesting because these examples talked about 2 people in very similar or same situations, and how like 2, I think they were like fraternal twins or whatever, and their dad was like this bad person who was like in jail for I don't know what, and then one twin grew up, or brothers, maybe they weren't twins, I don't know, but one grew up and he was like down the same path as his dad and he went to jail and stuff too, and then the other one was like a family man and great for the community and like this outstanding person. And they were both interviewed separately and asked, you know, how do you think your life ended up the way that it ended up? And they both answered, you know, look at my dad. There was no other way that I could end up having had that role model. So one of them was like, damn, well, look at my dad. He was this bad person, so how else could I be anything but bad like him? And the other one was like, wow, well, look at my dad. He was this bad person, so how could I be anything but good, because I saw how bad that was that I wanted to be good. So same situation, same question, but they perceived the situation differently, and based on their personal beliefs, they went through 2 completely different paths. So it's never the environment, never the events. It's the meaning that we attach to the events and how we interpret them, which is really powerful to remember. Whenever something happens in your life, your brain asks 2 questions. Will this mean pain and pleasure? And what must I do to avoid pain or gain pleasure? And the answers to these are based on beliefs and generalizations. The problem is most of our beliefs are generalizations about our past based on our interpretations of painful and pleasurable experience. So the challenge is threefold. It says most of us do not consciously decide what we're going to believe. Often our beliefs are based on misinterpretation of past experiences, and once we adopt a belief, we forget that it's just an interpretation. Like, we're like, this is a belief, this is it, but it's just the way you interpret it. People with multiple personality disorders, when they go from one personality to another, like, things physically change. Their eye color could even change. Beauty marks can appear or disappear based on different personality that they're in. So beliefs are not limited to impacting our emotions. They can literally change our bodies. So beliefs have the capacity to make us sick or healthy in a moment. Then it talks about some medical experiments and stuff like that, and like placebo drugs. And now it's like, what is a belief? So this little table thing, your belief or idea is the table. Then the legs of the table are references to support your idea or your belief. So if you have a lot of references throughout, if you come from a very poor background and you just have a lot of references of poverty throughout your life, your table is going to be really sturdy. And in order to change that belief and move your life in a different direction, you need to attack the legs of the table. So the references. So for example, the table in the book, it's called I'm Sexy, the table, and then the legs say I work out every day, I look good in jeans, I drive a hot car, and my lover tells me I'm sexy. So those are 4 pretty sturdy legs that give you the table of being sexy. If sexy was something you didn't want to feel, if you wanted to break this belief, then you would have to find a way to shake the foundation of those legs. Alright guys, so I was hoping to get this video out to you guys last Friday actually, but I on Thursday filmed 4 videos, and I lost the footage for 1.5 of them. So I lost the ending half of this book review video. So I'm just going to do it right now on my phone, just to like get it done and get it out there. And I'm going to try to make it quick because the part that I didn't lose is already 44.5 minutes. But yeah, we were talking about belief systems, that chapter, and the table. So then moving on from there, some things that I underlined on the next page. This was about visualization. People can succeed if they imagine something vividly enough, just as easily as if they had had the actual experiences. That's because our brains can't tell the difference between something we vividly imagined and something we actually experienced. Okay, let me try to hold this better. With enough emotional intensity and repetition, our nervous systems experience something as real, even if it hasn't occurred yet. And when I do these videos in the future, I will be doing them with the actual camera, like I did for the first half of this. But like I said, I just lost the footage, and I really want to get this information out to you guys. So it says, I underlined, certainty carries power. If you're going to make an error in life, then error on the side of overestimating your capabilities. Pessimists are always more accurate about how they did, while optimists see their behavior as being more effective than it actually was. Yet, this unrealistic evaluation of their own performance is a secret for their success. Optimists produce faith references, so they just imagine themselves succeeding. They know that the past doesn't equal the future, and if you develop an absolute sense of certainty that powerful belief provides, then you can get yourself to accomplish virtually anything, including things that other people thought were impossible. Then it goes on to talk about learned helplessness. When people experience failure enough times at something, they perceive their efforts as futile and developed the feeling of learned helplessness. Then it goes into the 3 patterns of belief that cause us to feel helpless. So the 3 patterns are permanence, pervasiveness, and personal. Permanence is the belief that a problem is permanent. So you have this problem with your tile manufacturer and you think, that's it, this problem is going to be permanent forever. Optimists look at it as, this too shall pass, no problem is permanent, there is a solution. Pervasiveness is when you feel like one problem controls your entire life. So a pessimist would be like, oh my god, I can't, the manufacturer is not good, I'm giving up my entire tile business, while an optimist will be like, you know, this is just one problem, I've got all this other good stuff going on, we'll work around this. And then finally, personal is just taking the problem personal. If your tile business is not working, if I post a YouTube video that didn't work, it's not personal. It doesn't mean I'm a terrible person. It's not like a personal attack. It's just, it was a bad topic, or the manufacturer has nothing to do with me, with the tile business, whatever. So don't take shit personal. Look at a problem as a fact. This is not working. Let's fix it. It has nothing to do with who you are as a person at all. So be wary of adopting the belief of the problem being personal, it says. Then it goes on to talk about how to change a belief. So in order to do this, you have to get your brain to associate massive pain to the old belief. Then you have to associate tremendous pleasure to the idea of adopting a new empowering belief. If we associate enough pain to anything, we'll change. Secondly, you create doubt. You could do this by a new experience or shaking the foundation of the legs of the table with your previous beliefs, like we were just talking about. New experiences trigger change only if they cause us to question our beliefs. Whenever we believe something, we usually don't question it. So the new experience has to be powerful enough to make you be like, hey, you know, I used to believe this. That doesn't really sound that right anymore. If you question anything enough, eventually you'll begin to doubt it. And belief is broken up into 3 categories. So opinions, beliefs, and convictions. An opinion is pretty flimsy. It's something that you think you know, but you can change your mind easily. A belief is stronger. This is when those tables of the legs of your table are sturdy. And you have usually strong emotion associated with a belief and lots of references. And then a conviction is even stronger than a belief. It's like, there is nothing anyone can tell you. You know this to be true, and if people question it, you usually get mad. A conviction is also, when you have a conviction, you're also more willing to take action. And it says, how can you create a conviction? First, you start off with a basic belief. Second, you reinforce your belief by adding new and more powerful references. Third, you find a triggering event or create one of your own. So you associate yourself fully, ask questions that create emotional intensity for you. And fourth, you finally take action. Every time you take an action, it's going to strengthen your commitment and raise the level of your emotional intensity and conviction. Then it talks a little bit more about pain. I wrote, find role models. The way to expand our lives is to model the lives of those people who are already succeeding. Like I've been talking lately, don't reinvent the wheel. This was interesting. It says all truth goes through 3 steps. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. And finally, it's accepted as self-evident. Then they went on to a really long explanation about this Japanese belief, but the belief, or this word in Japan that we don't have a word for it in English, which was interesting, but it means a commitment to never-ending improvement and constant increase in the quality of life. So, and the word I believe is kaizen. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. So constantly improving the quality of our lives, constantly growing and expanding. I wrote major key because, DJ Khaled. Principle of gradual improvement, simple improvements. This is all about what that word means. Tiny refinements made daily begin to create compounded enhancements at a level that most people would never dream of. So a little improvement every day. After a week, it's bigger. After a month, it's even bigger. You know what I mean? After a year, you're like a complete different person. So constant and never-ending improvement. Again, constant commitment backed up by action. I'm just reading you guys some of the things that I underline. Here it says, the only true security in life comes from knowing that every single day you're improving yourself in some way, improving the caliber of who you are, what you value, the value that you give. Daily questions to ask yourself: what have I learned today? What did I contribute or improve? And what did I enjoy? Which I thought it was interesting that was part of it. So here's another task for you guys to do. It says brainstorm all of the beliefs you have, both those that empower you and disempower you. Oh, when I filmed this the first time, I actually shared what I wrote with you guys. So make sure to cover if-then beliefs. For example, if I constantly give my all, then I would succeed. And global beliefs. For example, people are basically good or whatever. Jot down as many of these as you can imagine for the next 10 minutes. And do it right now, it says. So I'll share with you some of the empowering beliefs that I hold. If I work out, I will get stronger. I believe that. The more you do something, the easier it becomes and the better you get at it. And then the final belief that I have, that I put it under the empowering category, it's a little funny, but I wrote, I get everything I want. I was the only girl, the youngest. I was like a spoiled little brat. And yeah, I was like the family's princess, so I always ended up getting what I wanted when I was younger, one way or another. And that was such a strong belief that caused me so much pleasure, obviously, because I wanted a Barbie doll, I got it. I wanted a dream house, I got, whatever toy or whatever I wanted, experiences, whatever. That when I got older, my mom was like, look, chick, like, I'm not buying you toys, you're in high school, or whatever the case was. I had that belief, and I'm like, okay, I am used to getting everything I want. I like to get the things that I want. It causes me a lot of pleasure, and I'm going to continue this belief throughout my life. So I've kind of, still to this day, I've always believed that, and I'm like, one way or another, I get what I want. And that served me really well. Sometimes I've wanted things that are not good for me, but I've gotten them too, because I set the intention, I want it, I make a plan, and I make it happen. And I believe it's a very empowering belief. It's just like, be careful what you ask for, because you're gonna get it. I always get what I want. So I put it under empowering beliefs. It sounds a little bit like, I don't know, it sounds like you spoiled little brat, but I mean, if you had that belief and it worked for you, then I would definitely say that's empowering. So I put under empowering. Then some disempowering beliefs that I wrote in my list. I'm not going to share the first one with you guys, sorry. The second one I wrote was making money is hard, or hard work. I'm ugly without makeup, which is something that, I don't know why I believe that, and it's hard work to get abs. It's really not. You know, it's not, I don't feel like it's hard to grow biceps. I just feel like it's hard to grow abs for some reason. And growing biceps and growing abs is like the same exact process, the same thing. So that's a disempowering belief that I want to work on. So then once you've done that, circle the 3 most empowering beliefs on your list. Obviously, you're going to put a lot more than I just did, but I just gave you guys a few. And then how do they, like, write about how they empower you, how they strengthen your life. Think about the positive processional effects that they have on you, and strengthen your emotional, review this list and strengthen your emotional intensity and sense of certainty that these beliefs are real and true. Then circle 2 of the most disempowering beliefs and decide right now that you're no longer willing to believe those. Begin to create doubt. Ask yourself some of the following questions to create that doubt. How is this belief ridiculous? Was the person I learned this from someone worth modeling? What will it ultimately cost me emotionally in my relationships, physically, financially, or might cost my family and loved ones if I don't let go of this belief? And then finally, we can't get rid of a pattern without replacing it with a new one. So right now, write down the replacements for those 2 limiting beliefs that you just eliminated. So you're going to, this is all a writing process. As you write, you're going to connect more to it. If you just sit there and think about it, I feel like you don't connect as strongly. So write it down. Nothing in life has meaning except the meaning that you give it. So you get to choose the meanings that are most aligned with what you want for your life. Here it's talking about the power of belief. Okay, that's the end of that. And then chapter 5, which is the final chapter for this video, it's called Can Change Happen in an Instant? So it's talking about creating change. And all changes are created in one moment. So here I wrote in the margins, bad, underlined, I do this. So let's read what it is that I do. If we truly understand how the brain worked, I argued, we could stop the endless process of analyzing why things happened to us. Yes, I do that. And we could just simply change what we linked pain and pleasure to. We could just as easily change the way our nervous systems had been conditioned and take charge of our lives immediately. So here I wrote key. In reality, it's only difficult because most of us don't know how to change. We don't have an effective strategy. Willpower by itself is not enough to create lasting change. Here, this chapter gets a little bit sciencey. Here I wrote key to reinforce change. So once we effect a change, we should reinforce it immediately. And then we have to condition our nervous systems to succeed not just once, but consistently. Then this chapter gets really sciencey. I think I just said that. But it's a science of neuroassociative conditioning, or NAC. What is NAC? It's a step-by-step process that can condition your nervous system to associate pleasure to those things that you want to continuously move towards, and pain to those things that you need to avoid in order to succeed consistently in your life without constant effort. Okay, what are the 2 changes everyone wants in life? How we feel about things and our behaviors. So what NAC does is that it develops a specific system for utilizing any techniques to create change. So NAC provides an order and sequence of ways to use any set of skills to create long-term change. The first belief we must have if we're going to change quickly is that we can change now. Usually it's the getting ready to change that takes people time. So you're always like I'm gonna change, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna change. Like, just do it, just start, make a change. The second belief is that we must have to create long-term change is that we're responsible for our own change, not anybody else. So first we have to believe that something must change. Next we have to believe that I must change it. And third, we have to believe that I can change it. These are the core beliefs that are going to lead you to create change. Then it goes on to talk about the power of the brain, which is very interesting, very scientific. You guys can delve more into that. Then it talks about neuroscience, which is neurobiology and computer science combined. And it became this new discipline called neuroscience, and how neurons are constantly sending electrical messages back and forth, which create pathways. Every time we experience a significant amount of pain or pleasure, our brain figures out where it came from. And every time the behavior repeats, the connection strengthens. So now the problems with this is that sometimes it can be, he calls it false neuroassociations. The 3 criteria for forming neuroassociations are very imprecise, that they can lead to misinterpretations. So those 3 criteria are, anytime you experience significant amounts of pain or pleasure, your brain immediately searches for the causes. So the 3 criteria are: 1, your brain looks for something that appears to be unique, because they figure if you're suddenly feeling all this pain, something different happened. Number 2, your brain looks for something that seems to be happening simultaneously, or the law of recency. Your brain is going to think if you're feeling pain right now, something is going on right now to give you that pain. And 3, your brain looks for consistency. So every time this happens or whatever, you feel pain. Now, these are very imprecise, and it's open to misinterpretation. Like, your brain is just picking whatever. So he gives an example about how a woman had, she was a very passionate artist, and she had a very passionate relationship, and then she broke up with her man, and she was single for like 12 years, and her art, her life, everything started to deteriorate because her relationship was so passionate, and then it was such a hurtful breakup that her brain associated the passion of the relationship with how much pain was caused in the end. But the passion in the relationship was actually the good part of it. The bad part was, like, they had different beliefs or whatever, and they just broke up, like, bottom line. But since her brain made that connection, the rest of her life, she tried to stay away from passion. So she was single for 12 years. Her work started to suffer and things like that. Then there's also mixed neuroassociations, which are which is the classic source of self-sabotage, it says. So it's like you're starting to accomplish something, and then you end up destroying it or sabotaging yourself. So this is a case of associating both pain and pleasure to the same situation. So one example is with money. There's no doubt that people want money, but a lot of people feel like money is bad or evil. So it's like you want it, you draw it into your life, you do what you need to do to get it, but then you end up losing it because you also have that belief that money is bad or whatever. So that's the mixed messages. When you give your brain mixed messages, you end up getting mixed results. And then the pain barrier. This is what he calls when you get to the point that you feel like you're going to have pain no matter what you do, and people become immobilized in situations like this. So when you use the 6 steps of NAC, it's going to help you interpret these patterns. So then it says, after you read the following 6 steps, I challenge you to choose something that you want to change in your life right now and do it right now. So the 6 steps are actually in chapter 6, which will be for the next video. So just start thinking about that and maybe pick what pattern you're going to work on changing for yourselves. Now, I put a typo on Facebook. I said that we were reading up to page 320, but it's not. It's 220. So I'm actually, since this video is coming out late, and I'm sorry for that, guys, but I lost the damn footage. So I'm going to extend the next, where the hell is the end of this chapter? Sorry, as I find it. Okay, I'm going to extend the next deadline another week. So instead of February 1st, I'll have chapters 6 through 9, which is page 123 to 226, read for February 7th. Yeah, because that's like 3 weeks. For 100 pages, I'm also going to LA next weekend. No, the following, whatever. So we get an extra week for that. And I'll update it on Facebook and stuff for you guys. If you want to get the book, if you want to follow along, let me know what you think about the book, if you're reading it, or about this video, the concepts and the techniques and strategies discussed and things like that. Let's have a conversation about it. And yeah, the next video, I won't have this freaking problem, so it'll be out probably the Wednesday or Thursday after that Monday. Instead of, I'm just so mad that I lost the footage, because I said some good stuff in the first video and I had to do it again, but whatever. Alright guys, I love you so much. This video is super long already, so I will see you guys later and get discussing in the comment section. Bye guys.